Yes. I'm really not crabby. I'm stressed.
Yeah,
I know where I was
right.
just kidding around with Steve that I was crabby, but I'm
know.
really not crabby. Woo,
You're
I
like,
almost
I'm going to
knocked our
take
wall
your
down.
newly surgeoned arm and put it behind your back if you don't stop.
Stop asking me about that.
Stop it.
We were talking about how he's a germaphobe, so
Yeah.
he's constantly wiping it down, and he wants to wash his sling. I said, don't do that. It'll break it up. Then
Yeah.
it won't be as... I've seen people that have had to have slings for a year, and they wash it,
Yeah.
and you can just see how it kind of caves in,
Yeah.
and it doesn't keep its form. But every day after his workouts, he takes a baby wipe or Clorox, or
Yeah.
like he was saying he was doing Lysol.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's fine. They're
Right.
antimicrobacterial or whatever
Yeah.
it is, and
Yeah.
it's fine. It doesn't smell. He just thinks it smells.
Yeah.
Then he's like, should I put deodorant inside of it? I'm like, you're not doing
Stop.
anything but sitting
Yeah.
around. So, but
Yeah,
I'm not
and
really
he's
crabby.
not wearing
just
it
being
when
silly.
he's working out, or he is?
He doesn't wear it when he works
Right.
out because he has to hold it, move it up.
Right.
You can hear him like breathing down here when he works out because it's like,
Yeah, hurts.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to do different things. But
So yeah, he's not even sweating in it.
No, he's
Although
not
today is
sweating in it,
90
no.
degrees, and I am like sweating in
I
places
don't even know
didn't
why
know
I still have a
existed.
double layer on here.
Sick.
Yeah, I
I'm
walked
gross today.
We got 2 huge yew bushes removed from the front because they were dead.
Yeah.
And then we got a huge tree out here that died over the winter. And Steve said he was watching the guys and they were just sweating. I felt so bad. But it took them an hour at the most.
Really?
They cut the whole thing down.
Isn't that amazing,
Amazing.
how they do
and
that?
we have very tall, very large trees.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, I don't know. I guess it was pretty cool, but I missed it because
Yeah.
I was working.
Yeah, of course we were.
We work hard for the money. So I called you today. Let's get to seriousness.
You're like, you work hard for the money. I was like, eh.
Eh.
I mean, I do, but
I do. I don't know. Well, I do as much as I can in a day.
yeah,
And maybe that's more than others. Maybe that's not. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
we both work very hard.
yeah,
There's just a lot to do.
yeah.
So I had a meeting today, and I called you because once again, I think I've said this a couple times, there is a Golden Girls episode where Rose's coworker does not like her.
Oh.
And does not want to talk to her, doesn't look at her, and she tries to be friends with him because that's her
Right.
personality.
Right.
She wants everyone to like her, and she bakes him a cake. And at the end of the episode, he's like, so if you leave me alone, does that mean we're friends? And she's like, yeah, friend. He goes, good. Now you leave me alone,
Yeah.
and now we're friends. So I have that situation. And it's someone that I have to talk with
Yeah.
often, and you just know this person doesn't like me.
Okay, first of
But
all,
what did you say when I
I'm
called you?
gonna
And I was
stop
like,
you
it's
right
so
there.
weird to me.
Yeah. Because you don't know that this person doesn't like you, okay? And I said that this person could be the utmost, most gracious, most welcoming and thankful person at home with his or her family.
Right, right.
But in the business, it's business, And I think me and you both struggle with that.
Yep. Yes, we were talking about this.
Are likable people,
Yes.
and we want everybody to like us. But I have come to terms with, if you don't like me, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
Yes.
I do nice things for people. Like, if you're my friend, I feel like you're pretty lucky to be my friend.
Right, right. And
You
I
know?
feel the same because we are both very giving.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
will do anything for someone
Right.
that treats us
That
good
we
or is
love.
our friend or is our family.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, like, if that person doesn't like you, fuck them.
They're lost.
Right?
Yeah. And you kind of had to remind me of that.
Yeah.
So I've had other people not like me. They don't
Yeah.
like conversations. They just don't. You just don't mesh with people. People
Yeah.
are only in your life for maybe a second, right?
Right,
And so
right.
those people are gone. I think what's bothering me is that I have to work with this
Right.
person every single day, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays if I get a text
Yeah.
message.
Yeah. We've talked about before putting emotion to text, right?
Oh, yeah, that too. That's fine.
But what's your main way of communicating with this
Texting.
person?
Texting.
Right. Texting or emailing.
Yeah, so I'm very used to the very short
Right.
answers, but I have to say, the plus side of this, and I told a couple of my bosses that were in town, I always get a text back and an answer.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
short,
It
but
is,
it's an answer.
It's business.
It's business.
That person, I keep wanting to say he.
Oh,
It's a
we could
he
just
or
say
a
he.
she.
Yeah, we
Okay.
could just say he. That's fine.
That person is only business with you.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
And if someone says, "Hey, can you get a hold of this person and ask?" I get an answer back.
Yeah.
And I get a review back or I get
Right.
feedback every time
Right.
because it's business.
Right.
So then if we go on the personal side,
Yeah.
I started looking stuff up, and No shit. The whole list is exactly what happens. I'm like, he doesn't like me. But that's okay because I still get answers.
And I don't like everybody I meet.
Yeah.
There's no rule in the book that you have to like everybody.
No, right?
I
don't like many.
So
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I see a phone call and I'm just like, fine, hello.
Maybe I'll call them back.
And anyone listening that we know, it's not you.
Yeah.
I like everyone that calls me.
I just think that this, like I said, this person is very business at work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if they don't like you, that's a them problem.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned that when they said goodbye to you, they were looking at your feet, not in your eyes.
Yes.
I feel like that's almost a disability, right? Like maybe they don't like making eye contact.
I thought you meant my
people.
disability.
No.
I'm like, I was standing. My pants are short because I'm tall, but
you know, like they don't. You know, when I tell a story, look at me right now. I'm looking off to the left because a lot of people do
look
that,
to the
right?
Left to think, yes.
And so maybe his go-to thing, maybe he doesn't like making eye contact with people. Maybe he likes staring at something so he can focus on what he's saying or what he's doing, you know?
So what if I tell you that the two other people that were in the room, he looked right at and said, nice to see you again. Good to see you again. Thanks for your time. And then looked down at my feet and said, see you later, Meredith, and walked out the door.
He was probably thinking those are really cool shoes.
I mean, I did have cool shoes on. My outfit was pretty good today. You know what I'm saying? It was cute. Although I think I had a hole in my sock.
Maybe.
I was looking down at I was in the hallway today downstairs, and I'm looking down. I'm like, is there a freaking hole in my sock?
God,
and Rockstar comes around the corner. He's like, hello. And I can't even imagine what he saw me doing. Like, I was like looking down at my shoe, and I'm like, I think there's a hole in my sock. He's like, uh-oh.
Well, you know what? It was like by your ankle, though.
Oh, it's so annoying.
But it's so much better than right by your toe.
Well, no, definitely.
I come home from work, and I'm like, frick, I knew my shoe felt weird.
Oh, I know. Forget it. The toenails get just a little bit. Why can't I just get like a little thicker sock?
I don't know.
They all make holes, especially from running and stuff.
Yeah,
but, and I'm so excited because so I have learned, I'm only 5'8", but they make pants for 5'6".
Yeah.
Anyone that's 5'8" or taller may know, and I'm kind of in that, I'm really not a 33 inseam, and that's tall.
Right, tall. Yeah.
So then it's almost too long and it looks a little sloppy. So I have embraced the short pant, which is actually in.
Yeah.
When we were in Italy, everyone had,
okay,
you saw ankles.
I saw so many people with ankles showing today.
And in our line of work, you have to wear socks. But my only problem is if I wear super, super no-show socks, they fall under my heel.
Yes.
So I found at DSW these super cute socks that have just a little bit of like a ruffle, but not young,
right.
like a little bit of a ruffle.
A scalloped edge.
Yeah, scalloped edge. I love that.
Yes.
Thank you for that. That's exactly what they are. And they're white and they're cute, but not like... They're feminine.
They're not well made either.
They're not.
Clearly.
But yes, and I'm trying to like I'm gonna be 40 this year, and I'm trying to not like say that they look girly because that's not what I'm doing. It's not the lace, but they're scalloped edges and they're so cute. I love that scalloped. That's what I'm saying from now on. And they're so cute. Yeah. Maybe he was looking at my scallops.
He might have been.
And kind
he
of
might
thought,
have been like,
you're a little old for that, but
have
whatever.
Have you ever watched R.I.P.D., the Rest in Peace Department? It's got Ryan
I feel like
Reynolds.
I've seen it, but I don't
Okay, and then the old guy, and he was from, like, the olden days, and he was like, look at those ankles, you know? Like, maybe he was checking out your ankles.
I mean, maybe he's an ankle guy, but no, that would be gross because
like,
it's
those
business.
are runner's ankles.
Oh, can we? All right, before we get into this that I have all these notes for, why? Tell me this, because I run.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I meet up with a couple people. I see a couple other people. And someone says, how's your running? And I said, well, I've been off since last year because I had my surgery. They don't know that part. I just said, I've been off. I am back. Like now it's four mornings a week again.
Yeah.
Just the past couple weeks. And they said, wow, good for you. What do you like? And I said, I love 50Ks because I know I can finish them. That's 31 miles. 50 miles, 100 miles, that's a lot. 50Ks, I can train up to 20 miles on a Saturday morning and know that I'm probably going to finish a 50K. It just is whether I'm walking or not. Anyways.
I'm like walk a mile.
The first thing that the person did when they said, how was running? And I said, oh, I'm back. It feels good. They looked me up and down. And I know we've talked about this before. Why? What are they looking for when they do that?
I don't know. They're probably like, listen, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd be like, damn, she hasn't even been running in a year and she still looks that good.
I know. No, I mean, yes, thank you for that. But I don't think so. I think it's something,
Probably.
unless they envision the Kenya runners or like someone that wears Nikes or whatever.
Wait, what is the Kenya runners?
They're really fast,
Oh my god!
right?
I don't know. Okay,
The
because
runners from Kenya?
I was thinking about like Africa, the little babies with the bellies hanging
Oh,
out.
well, maybe that's what they're thinking. Why does she look like a little baby with her belly out when she should be running all that off, right? No, the runners that are very, very fast.
Yeah,
They win often.
yeah,
And, I mean, after the 400th time, you kind of get used to it, but you still kind of like wonder. So I feel like everyone has their vision of what something is or someone is, like a
Yeah.
runner, a teacher, anything, a weightlifter, whatever. I don't know. Anything that you can think of that you would be labeled as.
Yeah.
And they automatically look
Look up
because
and
they
down.
have who they think what a basketball player would be tall, maybe.
Tall,
How about a
right.
football player, a
Yeah.
gymnast with wide shoulder, anything like that. But every time that happens, I'm like, I want to stop them and not be. I don't want it to be weird.
Like, what are you looking
What
at?
do you, why would you do that? Why would
But
you look up and
listen,
down?
Remember the story about the lady that stood up from behind her desk and you had never seen her stand up from behind her desk and you did the same thing, right?
And I said, holy cow, you're a lot taller than. But that's because I got hired during COVID when we were all behind screens.
Yes.
And she actually ended up being taller than me.
Yeah.
And she was like my boss's boss. And I was like, whoa, you're a lot taller than I
So
thought.
we all do it. I look people up and down.
Yeah, I guess.
Mainly I'm looking for a name tag because I'm like, shit, I forgot this person.
Yeah, yeah. He knew my name. So I just always wonder.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, email us. Okay.
Why do you look people up and down? Let us
You know what? Yeah. Me?
No, people listening.
Oh, yeah. Why do you look people up and down?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I do it. I am certain that I do
Yeah.
it, but I'm not a Judge Judy. I don't.
Right.
We don't body shame.
Yeah.
But I know that if someone told me that they've been working out or something, I think the first thing I would do is maybe look at
Look.
their knees or their
You'd be looking.
calves or whatever.
Where-
I don't know.
what you working
Not
out?
their knees. You can't work out your knees, but
Let
you know
me
what
see
I
your
mean.
butt.
Yeah.
Let me see your butt. What's your butt look like? You've been working out?
Do you find yourself doing that?
Yeah.
Like if someone walks by and they
Dude,
do
I always look at
squats?
butts.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know because you just like, all butts are different. You might see someone with a real big butt and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, that's a huge butt,
yeah.
And then you see someone with a flat butt or a fat butt or, like you said, they definitely do squats.
Yeah.
But,
Huh.
and there's all kinds of
don't know.
butts.
So speaking of eye contact, so I looked this up and did a little research
Yeah.
on if you think someone doesn't like you in work or wherever, at a store,
What are the signs?
friends, what are the signs?
Yeah.
Number one, minimal eye contact.
Minimal eye contact.
So they avoid looking at you in meetings or conversations.
Yeah.
Short, dismissive responses. So
Yes.
I'm 2 for 2 right now.
Yeah.
Their answers feel clipped and cold. 3 for 3. They don't engage in small talk. I'm 4 for 4 right now.
Yeah, but I was just talking about like the bloodsuckers of corporate, right? Really, everybody that works in a corporate setting, I have never, ever, okay, I'm on the internet a lot, right? I have never seen one person be like, oh my God, my corporate job is amazing.
Yeah, why
They're
is
all
that?
like, it's the worst. I hate everybody I work with. This chick's always heating up fish in the microwave,
Yeah, why is that?
It's because you spend a majority of your life with these people, and either you think they think they're better than me, or they're lazy and they don't do their job and it makes my job harder. Or, you might find your 2-3 people that you do get along with. But then I think a lot of people, since COVID too,
Yeah.
are on the fence about making friends at work, right?
True.
What happens if that friendship ends and then you still have to work with each other?
Yeah, that's very
You
true.
know, so I just don't feel like you can take normal giveaways like eye contact, conversation, this and that in that setting in the same way
Yeah, absolutely.
because it's all business.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
So another one would be that they exclude you, but that has not happened. So now I'm 4 for 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you have someone that's excluding you on purpose, you might have to have a conversation, right?
Right.
Like they leave you out of chats, lunches, collaborative invites, especially for work projects.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you credit.
Ugh.
Now I'm 5 for 6.
That's gross.
Never once, ever in 10 years have I gotten a thank you, which I do not need.
Yeah.
I do not need that, just so everyone knows. I don't care. I'm going to do the job no matter what.
Right.
Because I sleep good at night. Well, I don't. I've been up since midnight.
Yeah.
But when it comes to work,
Right.
I would sleep good at night. I'm putting that in quotes, knowing that I did the best I could every day.
You did the best you could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I often say our job is a thankless one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I go in, I help out where I can.
For those that don't know, we're in retail. Yeah. This is the anxiety podcast.
Right. I go in and I try to help out wherever I can. And like I had a store director the other day, which I know I've done this task in front of him before. And he's like, oh, you're doing that today? And I'm like, I just come in and help where I can. If I see it needs to be done, I try to get it done for you. No promises made that I'm going to do it every single time I'm here, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And like he didn't say thank you. He didn't, he has thanked me before, but and I definitely don't need the boss calling me like, oh, you did so good this week. I don't need that. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to hear every once in a while, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we hear it from the stores sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe the managers or other team members.
Yeah, it's usually the certain departments that you're helping out in. They'll be like, oh, my God, thank you for doing that. That's so great. I did not even know if I would have time to do it today.
I might want to leave this for the Clopen episode. But I walked into a store today and I needed 2 UPCs. And it took at least 10 minutes for her to get through her day with me before she told me that she couldn't get them because she had to leave in 1 minute.
Oh, my God.
I was like, you know what? No problem. I'll go to another store tomorrow. I just texted the person. I'm like, it's not happening today.
Oh, my
It's happening
God.
tomorrow. And I didn't know where to look. And I don't want to just go back there and start looking
Sometimes
at stuff.
I'm like, I need this. I'm coming back and getting it.
I'm starting to look at people that I knew behind the counter. I'm like, oh, man, I don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
Usually it's someone that recognizes me.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in a while, but what do you need?
Yeah.
They know that I'm usually asking for stuff. And the woman that was leaving knew me, but had to go. And I'm just like, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Isn't that lame?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe she was having a rough day, but so was I.
Well,
I just
God
didn't wanna
forbid
hear
they
it.
get any overtime.
No.
You know that. If you work retail, God forbid.
No.
You ain't on salary at that place.
So they're not getting stuff done or finishing what the plan was. There's never a plan.
Yeah. I have one produce manager. He literally works 7 days a week, 24/7. Like I think he only has like 3 or 4 team members in his department. They can't hire anybody. Mm-hmm.
They were interviewing strong at the store that I was at today, but it sounded like it was for the front end, which is fine. Not but
the
I know that they need
stores
people everywhere.
Have a chalkboard out front that's like walk-in interviews between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m.
I feel like they do that around this time. But they also do need people.
They need people so bad in retail. If y'all are looking for a summer gig, go check some people out or stock some shelves for some extra money.
Or
it
you
ain't
know
a
what?
lot, but
just go stock the shelves and then leave the store. We won't even pay you. It'd be great. We don't even care if you stock it in the wrong spot as long as it's out of the back room. Just walk in the back room.
Can't shop from the back room. I'm like, watch me. I will just walk back there and grab it. I can see it from here.
Okay, so here's another one. You hear about things that they've said behind your back or they subtly.
How do you say that?
Subtly.
Subtly.
Oh, anyways, they question your work to others.
Yeah.
I'm still 5 for 7 now or whatever it is. They avoid collaboration. They'll work around you or only interact when absolutely necessary. That's pretty much.
You think so?
Yeah. Their body language would be like crossed arms, turned shoulders, sighs, eye rolls when you speak.
Look, I just had my arms crossed.
Yeah, but that's just comfortable. We have no arms on our chairs.
Right.
So I find myself doing that too.
I use my boobs to hold up my arms.
Yeah, you sit like that a lot. Yeah.
I do.
Although we are talking about something that's protective, so maybe you're protecting yourself, right?
Am I protecting from negative energy?
You might be, because there is going to be good energy here soon. I promise.
May it never find me.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't see that. I don't see the eye rolls or anything. But of course, I'm not on the other side of the phone either. I did though have a boss years and years ago that we would sit in a circle, and he would make sure he was furthest away and turned his back to me.
What the heck?
So that he was crossing his legs, and then if he really needed to talk to me, it would kind of be over his left shoulder. Mm-hmm. Or
That's
his right shoulder,
crazy.
yeah. And then if I walked into his office just to ask him to sign something, he would put like an arm up on the desk, almost like protecting himself, and then kind of signing over his arm. That
Really?
was, yeah, he was very strange. Very, very strange.
Huh.
And that was, yeah. But he did that to quite a few people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what he
But
was.
then again, in the work world, is totally different than home life.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, maybe he's had women accuse him of things that he never did.
Sure.
So he's like,
We
nope,
don't know.
I don't even want to fucking make eye contact with anybody anymore.
Right. You don't know what
You know?
happened.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Another one would be sarcasm, backhanded comments, even backhanded compliments, forgetting to loop you in.
Yeah.
It keeps mentioning that. So obviously, if you're missing things and there seems to be a common denominator there, something's going on.
Lack of communication. That
Yeah.
is the retail world. It's lack of communication from everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So if any of this sounds a little bit like, even if it's just one or two things,
Yeah.
number one, you could be annoying.
Yeah.
I am. I'm very, very hyper. Very
Yeah,
hyper.
I said
so
that
I
too.
understand. I
Yeah.
have so much energy all the time. And now that I'm running again, I see myself like smiling in meetings and I'm like, you idiot, what are you smiling for? They're talking about something
It's like,
serious.
yeah.
I'm just the endorphins
Let's go,
are
team.
driving through, you know? And this person is not like
Right.
that. So my high energy
Yeah.
and maybe they're just
He's
very
just like,
mellow.
dang, girl.
Yeah.
Put your teeth away. You're blinding me.
Yes, I get that. I absolutely get that. You know, and I'll answer the phone and be like, hi. You know, like I'm sure they're just like, wow. Wow, this girl's an idiot. So I get it. You know, I'm not just saying it's,
Oh,
you know,
this is so
there's,
funny.
there's reasons,
This
okay?
is so funny.
But what do you do that when you finally go, oh my gosh, I just checked off 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Like you said, I called you today and you're like, why are you taking it personally?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. You can't.
You can't take it personally.
You can't.
You have no idea you only know the person for like a second a day
Yeah.
for forever
Yeah.
when you have a conversation with them.
You have no clue what's on their desk every day.
Right,
Like who
right.
they're dealing with. Maybe, you know, because you are in charge of a certain department and maybe everybody else in those departments are really annoying. And he's like, fuck, here comes another one. You know, like,
you know, I have to admit, I will have a very rough day, or like today, we have great people we work with. And someone called me and I thought to myself, oh, I can't
Yeah.
right now. But I thought to myself, but I'm not mad at them.
Right.
I'm not tired because of them.
Right.
So I immediately changed and answered the phone.
Yeah.
And it was a great conversation.
yeah.
So sometimes you have to do that too.
Right.
Like, oh, here's another
Right.
thing. And you know what? Another thing that I'd like to mention is like when certain people call you, it's kind of like the customer service desk.
Yeah.
Anytime corporate calls me, it's for a favor.
Yeah.
So my mind immediately goes, how am I going to squeeze this in?
Right.
It's a They're not calling to say hello.
Right.
They're calling to say, we need this and we need it
this.
yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's also very stressful.
stressful. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could be getting that too. You don't know how many,
Yeah.
you know, give me a minute of your time that you
Right.
got before you even got to see that person, or how many text messages or emails
Yeah.
they get. You know, so I know
Yeah,
how many
could you
emails
imagine?
I get. I can't imagine how many they get.
I can't imagine running a company.
I don't know how Steve does it.
I
There's so
don't.
much. He works 24/7.
Yes. And to be responsible for all of that, I mean, you know, obviously you delegate and whatever, but really it all comes down to you,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't think I could shoulder that.
Yeah.
This is the huge difference between me and you, is I like being the little employee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like I'm a little person that makes a big difference in the everyday.
100%. Yep.
And you're like, I want to be
What's next?
president of the company. That's
Yeah.
my goal.
Which
you
will
know?
never happen. But my mind
Which is
is
fine.
what's next?
Yeah.
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 What's higher
And
up?
that's why you create all these side quests in your life,
Yeah.
like having the podcast and writing books, and you go back to school when you get real bored and I'm
Yeah.
going to learn something new. You know, think when you are feeling down because that person doesn't like you, think about everything that you have accomplished in your life, you know, and hopefully that gives you a little sense of, I am doing a good job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you said it again because you said it during lunch, and I don't know how much I was listening because I was so mad. It's soaked in now this time.
I hope
but
so.
It's true.
Yeah.
And just for all our listeners, too.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So another thing is, and this is exactly in line with what you're saying, is their dislike says more about them than it does you. Because you know you're a good person.
Right.
You know you're working hard.
Right. What did I tell you today? People will be like, oh, you're with that company? That one girl. What is her name? You know, she's a runner.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, yeah, Meredith. And I'm like, they might not remember your name, but they remember you.
And that's crazy to me.
I have never met a person since I've known you. Well, that's not true. Because when I first met you, there was people that, like, they didn't care for you.
Yeah.
But
because I was so
the
hyper.
reasons were you made them look bad. You did a good job.
Well.
You know what I mean? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, these fucking bitches, Meredith. Like, how dare they sit there and be like, well, you know, I don't know what she's doing to move up in the company. Working hard. That is what she's doing.
Many people said
While
that.
you're sitting in here in the office complaining about it, you know?
I'm
like,
loud, I'm obnoxious,
sick.
I'm hyper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So
what you... How did this turn about me? I don't know. But thank you, though. Thank you. So one of the big things is to set boundaries, of course, to be polite.
Yeah.
I already thought in my mind that it can't live rent-free in my head anymore.
Right.
Like, hello, what do you need? Keep business.
Yep.
You know, so that's setting a boundary.
Yep.
And in the professional, don't overextend yourself trying to win them over because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I've known this person for 10 years. Nothing's going to change.
Right. And also the immediate people that you work with, you're friends with. You know?
Yeah.
You got the TTA,
have a lot
you know
of
what
friends.
I mean?
Yeah.
And you guys are a close group. And you work together and you help each other.
Yeah.
And they are not like that.
Right.
We are a company that is working for another company. And what that other company wants from us is very demanding. And it's your guys' job to delegate it out and figure out how we're going to get it all done.
Yeah.
And you guys work very closely together. They're not going to give you that. It doesn't matter how nice you are, how many lunches we provide for them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They don't give a shit. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
They
They
care
just
about
want it
their
done.
bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all they, you know.
We're going to give you a task. Go ahead and get it done.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
We don't tell us
Yeah.
about the solutions. I noticed that.
Yeah.
If you start to say things, which what we call is like in the weeds, where how you're going to do it, they don't care.
No.
Just get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
They
is
don't-
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine because I would
feel-
rather have people less in my business.
Right.
And let me run the business.
know
or,
it's getting
whoever,
done.
you know,
Yeah.
let whoever is the lead.
Yeah.
Let them get it done. Let them run it the way they want to run it.
Right.
Make sure it runs smooth without having someone going, well, how are you going to do it? Because
Yeah.
too many chefs in the kitchen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it might be a good thing. That,
How am I going to do it? I'm going to tell my team to do it, and they're going to get it done.
Right,
You know?
right.
That's it.
And I'll give you a date, and it's
Yeah.
going to be done in a month or
Right.
2 weeks or
Right.
whatever, yesterday, you know. So
Yeah.
so of course, if it's super, super bad, if a behavior is really bad, it always says document it. Email yourself, whatever. You don't
Right.
have to get into that. This is more.
That's more harassment.
Yeah, that's more like.
Which I just did my training for harassment yesterday.
Yeah, I still have to do that.
and I was
I'm not sure if
laughing
I'm
so
ready.
hard because it has you click on the 3
Mm-hmm,
and the window is just a dude flipping you off, you know? And I love that every year when we do that. I'm
Yeah.
like, here we go again. This guy's going to flip me off. Watch. The blinds open and it's just a silhouette standing there flipping you off.
Oh, man. So the last thing I'll just say is you can acknowledge it. It's okay to be bothered. I was bothered today.
Yeah.
You're the first one I called.
Yeah.
And I just said, basically, I'm being dumb. You know, let's just talk through it.
Yeah.
And you absolutely always have great things because I think we think the same, even though we have a lot of the
Yeah.
opposite views.
Right.
Like, I can't believe you don't like mint chocolate. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I love it. It's always around the house.
Opposites attract.
Yes, correct.
You know,
but we do
yeah.
have the same type of thinking,
Yeah.
similar-ish
Yeah.
backgrounds, you know,
Yeah.
definitely different situations. But
I
it
feel
always helps to talk.
emotionally we are very much alike.
Yes, yes.
You know, but I think I have taken different paths in my life
Yeah.
where I'm just like, I don't care anymore.
And I'm getting that way.
Yeah.
Another one of our friends just said, F them.
Yeah.
What are you worried about?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
They don't care about you.
You go and you do your job and
Do
you
your
do
thing.
a good job.
Yeah, we all do.
They don't complain about you.
Never.
You
Well, I
know,
mean, you know,
that
to
you
my
know
face.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be a fly on the wall. But I don't
feel
think
like,
so.
you know.
I'm actually pretty confident that if they had something, I would get a phone call.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
because we have before. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just says keep being great and don't worry about it.
Right.
I know it's easier said than done.
I know.
But don't be bothered
I
by
know.
it. Like I was bothered today. Again,
It
I
sits
had
in
some
your brain.
Yeah, I mean, I've been up since midnight. I couldn't sleep last night. I actually jolted awake. I was talking to one of our other friends about it. He had the same thing happen 2 nights ago.
Stop. I know
Jolted-
exactly who you're talking about, too.
Jolted awake. He woke up at 11. Last night I woke up at midnight.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what happened? And
Yeah.
then it was TikTok 6 hours later. I'm like, well,
Dang.
time for coffee. So I'm going to be
I mean, I
going to
got up
bed.
at 3 this morning, but that was to like get up and go to work.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
my alarm went off. I got up. I had coffee, did my
Yeah.
little morning routine, and I went to work. And then I was home super early today, which was nice.
That is nice. Well, when you start early, you get home
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
So we also have to remember that not everybody is like us.
Right.
And at work, we're not really there to be liked. We're just here. We're just there to get the job done.
Yeah.
So another thing to remember,
Yeah.
right?
That, and I have a hard time with that too, right? Because I'm more in the stores than you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I have to talk to all these people, and you know, some of the managers are just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I'm like, ugh, what do you mean you don't want me to give you my 10-minute speech about how I'm going to do this and where I'm going to put it, and
Yep.
not even tell me anything, that any input, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, great, they don't like me. And I'm like, I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
So there's rude people out there. There's people that just are rude, you
Mhm.
know? We don't know what's happening, so.
I'll end with this cute little story. So I was done at the end of the day today, but I was still at a store.
Yeah.
Doing what I needed to be doing, a project. And everyone knew I was there. Everyone, I'm putting that in quotes, store director. I always check in.
Check in, yeah.
Someone in the produce department walked up and they were like, can I help you? And I go, no, I'm good. I did not. And I looked right back down at my computer. She stood there for a minute. I looked back up like,
Can I help you? What do you need?
I was a
Leave me
little
alone.
bit sassy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was her approach as well.
Yeah,
And I was just
right.
like, not today's
Matching
not the day.
energy.
I
We're
just
matching
I
energy.
did. I had to
Yeah.
match it. I
Yeah.
usually don't.
Yeah.
Again, I explained myself. Oh, I'm here to blah blah blah. I even show my screen. No.
I always laugh because it's like when somebody new gets hired and they're like, oh, do you need help finding something? As you're like stocking
Yeah, right.
product.
No, I'm good.
And I'm like, no, I went ahead and found this in the back and I'm just putting it on the shelf. And then it's like, oh, they notice I have a name badge on. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. And I'm
yeah.
like, no problem. Now you know what I do when I'm here.
Here's another thing. So, they approach us and say, can I help you?
Yeah.
Or what are you looking for? Or what
Yeah.
do you need? Who made you the police?
Yeah. It's always a brand new one.
I wonder if
Always
she
the
was. I
brand
had
new
never
ones.
seen this one before. Yeah.
And like, they're like, I have to show I do a good job. I'm going to stop this imposter from being in our
From
department.
stocking all this
Yeah.
wonderful stuff that's going to
Yeah.
create sales
Yeah.
and more labor.
Yeah. And it's weird. It's weird. Because then, maybe the manager sees you and goes, oh, hey, Cass. And I go, hey, how's it going? This
Yep.
and that. And then they go, oh, shoot. Oh,
They know
okay.
her, yeah.
I think I overstepped,
Yeah.
so don't bother me.
So look people in the eyes.
Yeah.
Don't look at their scallop socks. Unless you don't like them, then look down. Right?
Maybe they do like scalloped
Sure,
socks.
maybe they do. Maybe they like tan ankles. I got tan ankles.
You
too.
do
I
have
don't
tan
know.
ankles. Some sexy ankles.
I guess the whole point of this whole episode is don't let it bother you.
I was going to be like, F them.
F 'em. Who cares?
Who
Because you know
cares?
you're a good person.
Yeah.
Right? Done.
Screw it.
Screw it. Screw 'em. What's that from? What movie is that from?
don't know.
Screw 'em. Blazing Saddles or something.
Get out of here. Blazing Saddles.
Good old, what is it? Mel
What? I was going to say Mel Gibson.
Mel Brooks?
Mel
No.
Brooks.
Screw 'em.
Jeez. Good Lord.
Terrible. All right, that was
Anyways,
good.
all
Talk to
right.
you next time.
Bye, guys.